The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
We are continuing with your phone calls on this live Sunday edition. I do radio 6 days a week, folks. 4 hours, Monday through Friday, from 12 noon to 4 p.m. Eastern. And then I come back 4 to 6 Central or 5 to 7 Eastern Sundays. And we've just got wide open phones today. I've covered the engineered collapse of the banking system. I want to get into some medical tyranny, banning home births and parents being paid to have the government test toxic drugs and vaccines on them. Also, another headline I want to cover, USSR planned nuclear attack on China in 1969. Scientists forecast decades of ash clouds. So that's all coming up. But right now, let's go to Joe in Wyoming. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I was talking with a friend the other day about how can the common man get together and show everybody as one that we do support the Second Amendment. And I'd like your opinion on an idea that we have.
Okay.
And I think we have enough time to be able to do this. It is as simple as this. All over the country on the 4th of July, there are going to be parades. What do you think about organizing and coming up with some viral videos that could go viral on YouTube or something like that, where we can encourage all people who are willing to open carry their firearms at the 4th of July parades?
I appreciate your call. It is a beautiful idea, but it's dangerous. And let me explain why. Perception is reality. That's what the spin doctors of the government and big corporate systems believe, and it's true to a certain extent. That's why they've put up billboards for the last 15 years all over the country that show a photo of a revolver pointed at you, and it says, report illegal guns. And I've seen these in Corpus Christi. I've seen them in Waco. I've seen them in Dallas. I've seen them in L.A. I've seen them in New York. And it's the Violence Policy Center and other big federally funded anti-Second Amendment groups that do this. So the general public sees billboards and thinks a revolver is illegal. Or how many cop shows are based in Chicago or New York or L.A., both cops on Fox that is real, and then dramas or fiction shows where they pull somebody over, they've got a gun, you're going to jail for 10 years from this. And it's based in only a few cities where that's really the law. To the point of, you got a carpet cleaner in your house, and I've told the story probably 100 times, I'm not going to tell it again, but the carpet cleaner comes in and sees a gun case and freaks out and runs off and leaves and calls the police on you because guns are illegal. Well, they're not. And it's really freaked the media out in Arizona and Texas and many other places that people are going out to rallies packing loaded firearms. And at first the cops would try to arrest them. They'd get sued. They'd lose. And now the cops on the news will stand back and go, okay. You don't have to worry about the guy that's packing a gun on his side. You got to worry about the guy that's hiding a gun. You know, criminals don't go to gun rallies carrying a AR-15. They don't go to a tea party wearing that. No, criminals rob your liquor store at 10 o'clock at night at closing time. Okay? So, when the cash register's full. And so people are coming out of the closet. They're saying, I'm not ashamed to own a gun. I can't tell you how many guests we've had on, many of you've heard them over the years, how many articles we've read. I mean, it's so passé now that I see it every week and don't even cover it, and I should. And this happened to me. Back in college, I got my .243 deer rifle. Don't need a big deer rifle for these little Texas deer, and I was driving out to our ranch, family ranch. I was going to meet family out there, and I walked out, stuck my .243 in the hatchback of my Mustang, closed it, drove to the store, forgot something, came back, and there were two cop cars walking around, and they came over and they said, are you the one with the gun? And there was the manager saying, yeah, we got calls, somebody got a gun. And I said, I'm going deer hunting. And the cops went, okay, and they weren't brainwashed zombies. That's the one reason cops are pro-Second Amendment in over 90% of the studies they've done. I saw one national law enforcement survey where 98% were pro-Second Amendment because they know guns, they're not scared of them, they actually know the laws. And they knew I had every right to have a deer rifle in the back of my car with a box of .243 shells. One time I got pulled over speeding with some buddies going deer hunting, and we were going to do some target shooting too, and there were AR-15s, 50 cal, I mean, Mac 90s, 357 Magnums. We were going to have a good time. And we're meeting our girlfriends out there. And the cop gave us a ticket, looked at them and said, what are all these guns for? And I just said, it's the Second Amendment. We're going deer hunting and shooting. But the problem is that's Texas. Just 20 years ago, you saw trucks everywhere with guns in the gun rack. But now you do that even in rural areas, they'll pull you over. We need to start driving around with guns in our gun rack. We need to start. But see, crime got so bad with thieves stealing guns, that's another reason not to do it. But we've got to exercise this right or we will lose it. And if a bunch of cowards are scared by a gun, why is the average domesticated, neutered yuppie scared to death of seeing a citizen with a gun? I mean, I've seen so many articles. It's almost always an old man for some reason because they still think this is America. They'll be in their garage tinkering in a neighborhood in L.A. or in Milwaukee, many cases of this in Boston. They'll be in there putting a scope on their rifle with the garage door open in the summer. A neighbor walks by and sees somebody with a gun. The SWAT team shows up, arrest him, and you'll see the headline, man arrested for arsenal. He had 9 rifles and 3,000 rounds of ammo. Oh, my God. He bought them in bulk to say there's no law, but the cops still take him in. Those cops are traitors. I mean, you can't have a carpet cleaner in your house that sees a gun case? In America, I can't have a gun case? You can't be in your garage with a gun in vice grips, putting a sight on it? You can't walk out to your car and stick a deer rifle in it? I mean, what happened to this country? So, yes, I think if you get together in groups, you need to put out press releases because the cops, people will call panicking the cops. They'll say, men with guns, and the cops don't know. They just show up, and it could be a big scene. So I say, you say, we're going to march in this public parade with our firearms. And if you don't want to scare the public, you could, even put in there, it's your right to carry them loaded, but, you could say they're going to be unloaded or whatever. But, I mean, it's like veterans parades. Have you read where they can't even march with guns that are unloaded because it scares the domesticated cattle? Oh, they love cops in black uniforms and ski masks with guns, which should scare them. But they see veterans in a veterans parade with guns. Oh, my gosh, let's have a heart attack. Truth Patriot in New Jersey. Go ahead, you're on the air.
How's it going, Alex? I talked with you on Thursday, and we had a good conversation. I told you I'm a school teacher, and the kids did the walkout versus the sit-in.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask your advice on my proposal. First, I want to get into a little bit of background news for your audience, because I know I'm speaking to lots of listeners now. You can check out how well Alex Jones is doing on Google Trends. Your audience is growing so much, and that's why I really need your support. H.R. 1207 passed the House with 336 co-sponsors. However, people like Bernie Sanders and Chris Dodd kind of hijacked it. And
you're saying, for those that don't know, that was the real audit the private Federal Reserve bill, and then Ron Paul has said that it was a sellout by Bernie Sanders in the Senate. They stripped it and passed the bill for a fake audit.
That's correct. And then they try to reinsert the H.R. 1207 language into the Vitter Amendment, and that was denied. That was voted down. So we tried to go within the system. We tried to, go through Congress and the Senate in order to, not even abolish the Federal Reserve, but just to audit it, and we still can't do that. This is my dilemma, and this is the solution I have, and I want you to really support it and analyze my ideas here. If you could take a moment out of the radio show to do this, because I think this is the real problem, and this is the real or part of the
we're going to have Ron
solution.
Paul on again in the next 2 weeks. We've read his statement that it's a fraud. I mean, what's your idea?
My idea is on the 4th of July, because that's Independence Day, and we could do it either in 2011 or 2012. I'm not sure how long we need to raise the collective consciousness, but if we all stop paying our mortgages, our IRS bills, our car loans, our student loans, we just default on everything. On Facebook, I started a little website just yesterday, facebook.com/mortgage default revolution 2012.
Well, I'll say this. For people that don't believe in this and think it's fraud to not pay, the banks made this money up, the big ones, out of nothing. Stay there briefly. I want to come back, Truth Patriot, New Jersey, finish up with your points, but quickly. Don't want to go to Alan, Dave, Eddie, Mark, Ronnie, and others. We'll be back, 888-201-2244. Stay with us.